What goes on, everyone? So, pretty simple video today. We're just going to go over IE Strongest Man, Inland Empire Strongest Man. Go over my chances of winning, see what the events I'm excited for or least excited for. Talk about a little bit the guys in my roster today, and just go over my expectations and predictions for the show because it's my last show of the year. I've had a pretty good streak of being on the podium for my last two shows, and we're just going to see if I can continue that streak for the most part. And yeah, also, quick little side tangent. I wasn't able to have a full-on video of my review over this past weekend's Rogue Invitational. For those of you who saw the video of my predictions, thank you guys for watching and liking. But overall, my thoughts, just my quick tidbit, great show. It was an amazing display of just strength from both women and men. We have Mitchell Hooper being the three-peat champion, 2023, 24, and now 25, Rogue Invitational winner. And of course, we have Inez Carastillo for the women who, again, dominated just like she did last year. I don't have too many complaints about the show itself. I think it ran pretty smooth. I think Rogue is starting to become that just other mainstream name in the sport of strongman, which I'm glad. I mean, it's a big brand name. It has a lot of reach when it comes to different athletes and different sponsorships. So it's very, very encouraging, and it's amazing to see for our sport to see it go to that level. Of course, my predictions were wrong. Was a little sad about that. Lucas he didn't make podium, so I was like, dang, I was really off. I think the only real prediction that I had kind of right was Patty Haynes winning an event, and at first I thought it was going to be the drive or the push and drive or power drive. That's what it was. But believe it or not, he won the crazy freaking very heavy yoke escalator, which killed everybody. But overall, like I said, I don't want to get too much into it. I think it was a great show. I can't wait to see what these guys do in the next strongman season. I think everyone had just a great year, and I think a lot of people are just beat up from the year as well. So we'll see where it goes with that. But yeah, going on to the Inland Empire Strongest Man. So it is the third kind of year for this show. It's been rebranded. It's been Coachella Strongest Man for the last 2 years. But maybe just due to location issues, they decided to have it in the Inland Empire. So it's going to be a HOT Barbell Club. So if you are local to the IE, I encourage everybody to please come on down. I think it's going to be a great show. It's a smaller show in the sense it's not going to be 100 plus people. I think it's about 50 athletes altogether, which is going to be very, very good for us athletes. That way we're not waiting around all day. So yeah, if you're local, please come on by. They're doing a really cool thing. Instead of doing, well, of course, there is traditional admission. If you want to come in, please do the admission at $5. It's a nice, cheap ticket. But they're also doing the option of just bringing a can of food. I know people are struggling right now. I know people might be really, really in serious circumstances when it comes to food and stuff of that nature. So I really think it's cool what they're doing. So yeah, please come on down, show your support, contribute whatever way you can. We appreciate it. And going straight into the events. Yeah, so it's a 5-event show. So I've actually done 6 events in total for nationals, and I think it was 5 for regionals early this year as well. So it's pretty good standard set of events. I think it's easier for setup. It's probably overall, good entry level amount of events for a lot of strongmen who are doing it this year. So overall, can't complain too much. But the first event I'm excited for is the Trump log overhead. So the way it's going to be set up, it's a Trump log setup. So what that means, basically, there's going to be a lighter version and a heavier version. Whatever reps on the heavy log will triumph any repetition on the lighter one. So let's say hypothetically, someone in my weight class repped out 250 for like 5, but if I just did 270 for 1, I would win that event. So pretty simple rules. For the men in the 90 kg, we're looking at 250 and 270. So going into the show, I was really confident of just repping out 250, but after some recent progress, I'm pretty confident I can get 2 reps on the 270. I might just need 1 rep, to be honest, but going based on my side-up order, I'll be going first. So I might just do 270, call it a day, and at the best, some guy will probably beat me and maybe even tie me. I don't know if anyone on my roster has the ability to rep out 3 on 270, but that's just my 2 cents. Overall, I think it's a good event. I like it. It's going along with the heavy aspect of the show, which I like, and it's a log. It's more strongman than that. So, oh, and I guess a couple of rules they had for the log event 1 is that if you were to start at the heavy log, you cannot go down to the lighter log, which is, you know, I think it's kind of dumb in my personal opinion. Like if I get gassed for trying to rep out 270 and fail each time, I think I should be given the opportunity to rep out 250 at least once just to get some points. At that point, you're just risking injury, and you don't have an opportunity to really come back if you gamble with the 270. But again, just in my opinion. Event 2, we are doing the max axle deadlift. This one is going to be my bread and butter. This one, I'm calling it now, will be my win in the event. I just love deadlift. And I think as a lightweight competitor, I think I'm pretty good at deadlift. So to do a max axle, I think it's pretty cool. So again, for those who may not know, the axle is going to be a thicker bar. They will allow straps, of course, no suits. And it looks like the heavier men, so the 265 pounders and up, will be doing at 13-inch height. And I'm guessing everyone below, including the women, will be doing the traditional 8-inch. So overall, can't complain. It looks like you're doing rubber plates as well. So I guess it's going to look cool. It's going to be hard to get a lot of weight on that bar if people are pushing 5 and up. But overall, I mean, it looks cool. So like I said, it's a 3-attempt jump. So my opener might be enough to win the event, hopefully. If not, then I am more than confident my second attempt will get the win basically. But yeah, overall, super excited. Deadlift is my thing. I love deadlifting. I'm definitely in strongman. Typically, people are either really good deadlifters or really good overhead pressers, and they usually struggle on the reverse. I definitely feel on the first one, I'm like, yeah, I prefer deadlifting a lot more than my pressing. So I'm excited. So yeah, I'm glad to have a max event. What more can I say? All right, so the third, I go from my favorite event to probably my least favorite. We're doing a yoke, sandbag, car drag medley. So they did have some recent changes to this one. Initially, it was supposed to be a full 50 feet for the medley, but I think due to logistics and just for setup, they decided to cut it to where for the yoke and sandbag, you would travel 25 feet forward and 25 feet back. And of course, the sandbag is going to be loaded over that yoke. And if I'm not mistaken, the car drag will be the traditional 50 feet. So I'm not super excited. I believe my weight class is going to be the 640 yoke, which is not fun, but I definitely do think I'll be able to complete it. I'm not going to speed run it. I can tell you that right now. I think it's going to kill a lot of people cardio-wise, or at least those who haven't done a lot of cardio and conditioning for this event. No really unique rules in this. It just says that you have to have a good amount of clearance over the line for the yoke. So they don't want just tippy top, the very tip of the yoke. They want to get a good foot over it. So, hopefully judges are able to track that accordingly, especially for a very fast-paced event. But overall, I never pulled the car before, so I'm excited for that. Like I said, the yoke is not my strong suit. And then the sandbag is actually very light for this event, in my opinion. 225. I'll be able to shoulder it pretty confidently. I'm glad that's kind of lighter, so that way I can actually compensate for the heavy yoke, and it might be a heavy car drag. So I'm glad the sandbag weight was chosen for that. So very, very not excited for that. Event 4, going into the Cerberus sandbag toss. So first throwing event in the Coachella/IE. I've done it once and I've gotten a lot better. I don't know if I'll win it. If it comes down to time, I'm definitely not going to win it. But I'm excited. I think the weights are pretty accurate, or they're pretty well chosen. The actual weights are going to be, we had a 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35. So that's pretty dang good, in my opinion. I do kind of wonder why they decided to do the same weight for the lightweights. You would think that either ours would be heavier or those would be lighter, but that's just director discretion at that point. But overall, I'm not too upset about it. The 30-pound bag, I can definitely do it with confidence mid-run. The 35-pound bag, I'll have to take a second. I've done that a couple of times in training. It's usually 50-50 depending on how gassed I am, but more often than not, I'm able to get the bag over the bar. So yeah, I think I can get it done fairly decently. I don't know if like I said, if I want to do time, but I do know I can clear the 35 if I have enough time. I'm not gassed. So it's one of those iffy events. I'm not super excited. I'm not super worried about it either. It's just going to be like, we're just going to get it done. It's a good recoverable event because we're already pushing heavy deadlift. We're pushing a heavy yoke. So it's a good breather event. So I'm glad they decided to do that. And what's not a breather event is stones. This is just a staple in the Coachella IE's repertoire, I guess you could say. So we're doing the crazy heights again. So we're doing 61, 57, 53, 48, 43. That's going to be for the men, and then of course for the novice men as well. I believe that might be subject to change. I don't know for a fact. I've heard some rumors that they're not going to be committed to the high heights for the last three, but we'll see what happens. I do know for the 67, 57 inch platforms, I think that's going to be pretty secure of them keeping that. I'm not a very tall person, so I cannot really load the stone that high in the traditional sense. So I've just been practicing doing shoulders. So if you've been following me on Instagram, you've been seeing the reels, that's what I've been doing for the last few months. And I'm a lot more confident in shouldering that weight than what a lot of guys been doing and, clean and pressing it. For me, I don't have like the extra surface area to actually fully balance and press it. So I'm just not going to take that gamble. It cost me the stone run the first year, and it was definitely a bit more of a gamble the second year. I definitely got confident in stones the second year, but yeah, it still wasn't a guaranteed load. So I feel like shouldering would definitely be my best bet. And I plan on finishing the stone series this year. I've never finished the stone series at Coachella/IEs, so I definitely want to make sure I check off that box this time around. For the stone weights, which are pretty crazy, we have the 240, 260, 280, 3, and 320. So what's really cool about that is that during this prep was my first time ever touching a 300 stone, and I was able to do it pretty easily. I'm not going to say it was super easy, but pretty easily. And I've done that for multiple repetitions as well. So I've got a lot of confidence on the 300 and the 320 stone. I've maxed out at a 335 stone. And I did the first run through about a week ago, and it went pretty smooth. If I believe I'm not mistaken, it came out to be about 90 seconds in total, and that included me actually transitioning stone to stone. So with the actual setup, I'll have to worry about actually placing the stone there myself. So that's going to obviously cut off a lot of time. But yeah, I'm excited. That is the full show when it comes to the events. I think it's, like I said, a pretty good set of events. My only real critique, and I know this isn't going to go nowhere, but yeah, I don't think the yoke should be that heavy. That's just my opinion. If I'm like on a struggle bus for the yoke just to finish it, it's going to be kind of hard. I think 600 would have been more than enough, to be honest. I think that's enough to where it'll come down to time and, of course, conditioning. But it is what it is. I'm excited for the log. I'm excited for the max deadlift. I'm excited for the stones to finally check off that box, like I said. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't complain too much for the overall show. When it comes to the roster itself, not a big lineup. I don't know what happened compared to last year. Maybe a lot of 90 kg guys said, I'm done with the show. So it is what it is on that, right? Believe it or not, we actually have a lot more lightweights, as in the 80 kg versus the 90 kg, but it is what it is. So for my class specifically, I'm not going to name off every single person because it just seems like a lot. But if, altogether, we have, for the 90 kg class, we have myself, we have James Daniel, Jason Avalos, Fabricio Zuniga, Stephen Ayuli, and John Livermore. So I know a few of these guys personally. They're really cool dudes. I can't complain too much on them personality-wise. Like, they're just really standard dudes. I do know for a couple of them, these events are a little heavier than what they were expecting. But I'm glad they're still here to compete and do their best. I do believe Stephen is not competing this year. So I think it just comes down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, including myself. So I'm excited. There's no major standouts that I'm aware of. I do know Jason Avalos has moved the 650 or 650 yoke pretty comfortably. I haven't seen too much of his training. John Livermore, I think he's coming out of Wreck-It Gym. Pretty strong dude as well. So he's going to be up there when it comes to the podium as well. James and Fabricio, I do know this is kind of newer for them. For like when it comes to the weights, but I do know they're gonna go all out. Like, I know like they had a pretty good turnout at the Pull For You, the canter drive event that we had recently, So I know they have that bug in them, and I know they want to do their best. So I'm really excited to compete against them. And like I said, for the most part, they're really, really good dudes. But yeah, I am excited. I don't know exactly what's going to happen when it comes to the overall podium, but I'm planning to win it. That's my major prediction for the show for my weight class. This is my last show for the year. I've competed 3 times this year. It's the most I've ever competed ever when it comes to strongman or even comes to powerlifting. And I'm having a baby next year. So I want to leave on a high note. I want to make sure that I check off a lot of boxes when it comes to the show. And I think these are pretty good guys to test me. And yeah, I'm just trying to keep that podium streak alive and end the year on a high note. So I'm excited. These are my predictions. These are my thoughts. Let me know what you agree, what you disagree on. Like I said, guys, if you are in the IE, the Inland Empire, please come onto the show. We can really use the support. I want to make sure the sport grows in any way, shape, or form. And once again, I love what they're doing when it comes to the contribution. So if you have like any type of canned foods that you want to use as your admission, we would much appreciate it. So that, and of course, like they're gonna make traditional $5 admissions as well. If you don't have that, I'm pretty sure it's going to go to any individual who's in need right now. It's a tough time. I get it. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm here to glorify God. So I'm going to do that with this victory as well. So God bless you all. Thank you for watching me spat off for about 20 minutes, and hope you guys have a blessed rest of your evening. Have a good one.